Part 77. Shocking. She came back with a smaller version of the boss. Author, and knows. Chapter 761. Chapter 761 Christmas Eve. Early the next morning, Ji-sun came back to Huan. Rong Li hadn't woken up yet. He drank too much last night and fell asleep when he came back. Ji-sun patiently made coffee and waited for him. The aroma of the coffee still aroused Rong Li's greed. A cup of black coffee every morning has become a habit. Why are you back? Rong Li rubbed his eyebrows. The floor heating was turned on the top floor of Universal. He was wearing a t-shirt and shorts, his hair was a mess, and he looked like he hadn't woken up. Fang Mingheng said you were drunk. I came back to take a look. You are also very capable. Why are you drunk? It is still the second half of the entertainment. If Fang Mingheng is not here, some young lady will take you away. I will hold you in my arms a year later. The child comes to you, do you recognize it or not? Ji Xian couldn't help complaining. Socializing in the second half of the financial world is a sensual place, and anything can happen. He doesn't believe in Fang Mingheng's integrity, and maybe he thinks Rong Li is making money. Woolen cloth. Don't say such scary things. Rong Li was so frightened that he almost woke up from alcohol. Fang Mingheng is here. If he dares to do this, he will have to do it unless he no longer wants to live. Ji-sun didn't know whether to laugh or cry. I'll go to Black Eagle's entertainment. You can take a break, or you can practice drinking. Is your stomach feeling well? It's not a big deal, it's just that my brother is too nervous. Save it for yourself, it will be more troublesome if you get into trouble while drinking. Rong Li raised his eyebrows and said, when the third master comes back, push him away, he has a lot of energy anyway. Ji-sun's eyes lit up, I think so too. The two looked at each other and smiled. Ji-sun saw that he had finished drinking and poured him another glass. Qinwan is pregnant, do you know? Rong Li's face turned dark. It's so early in the morning, do you insist on being beaten? You really don't gossip at all. What's there to gossip about? Rong Li said unhappily, it's just that I have a boyfriend, but I don't want to get married, and I do all sorts of things, and she even gave him a report to make him happy to be a father. What a beautiful idea. She didn't talk about a boyfriend, Ji-sun said, it is said that it was the result of a one-night fling. I don't even know who the father of the child is. What? Rong Li became even more angry. He had been inexplicably irritable recently, and when he heard this, he added fuel to his anger, it's really. What are you angry about? Ji-sun was puzzled. You and she have always disliked each other. Don't you want to watch this kind of thing? Rong Li frowned, I'm not angry. I'm hungover and have a bad temper. If you don't like it, just get out. You have a bad temper, and I didn't offend you. Ji-sun touched his forehead, you don't have a fever, do you? How do you know the result of her one-night romance? Did Zhang Junlin say that? That's not what I overheard. Ji Xian couldn't laugh or cry, my brother is going to find out whose cub it is. According to the time, it should be around Christmas. That period is Christmas and New Year. Yes, all the students were on vacation, at most it was just that group of students. Later, I didn't know what happened, and I didn't want to check. Qinwan didn't mind, so he didn't bother to care. I know. Rong Li narrowed his eyes sinisterly. What do you know? Rong Li's chest heaved. They went to the bar after watching the movie that day. Qinwan was in a particularly high mood. Someone was performing a pole dance on the stage. She jumped up on a whim. Her body was as flexible as a snake and her charming eyes were as silky as silk, which caused a stir in the bar. There was a riot, and someone bought more than 20 drinks for the free wine alone. She had a lot of wine and refused to accept anyone who came. She must have had fun with some wild man that night. Hamida 1. End of this chapter. Shocking. She came back with a smaller version of the boss. Author, and knows. Chapter 762. Chapter 762 Sweet Couple. Seeing Rong Li's uncertain expression, Ji Huan raised his eyebrows uncertainly and asked, "Is it you? What nonsense are you talking about?" "It's okay if it's not," Ji Sun patted his chest, "your expression scared me to death and almost made me misunderstand you. If this is really stupid, it would be wonderful." "Get out," Rong Li angrily went to issue an eviction order, "you should go back to Zhang Junlin's house, don't bother me. You drink some chrysanthemum tea, why are you so irritable these days?" Rong Li ignored him, Ji Xian failed to gossip, and Rong Li was in a bad mood, so he would not let the topic go, so he took Rong Li downstairs to race cars to relax. Los Angeles. Gu Si's summit ended successfully. Lu Ziwen stayed with her during the second half of the process. Chen Rishi was more restrained. I don't know if it was because he was worried about Lu Ziwen and didn't continue to pester her. Gu Si was rarely quiet and devoted himself to communicating with others academically. At the end of the summit, Chen Rishi invited everyone to have a dinner. Gu Si did not attend, and the dean would not force her. Gu Si was very popular at this summit, and not going to the dinner would cause others to discuss it. She has always not cared about public opinion. That night I went to the casino with Lu Ziwen. Annie also went to the casino with them, Chen telling the truth about Pei Chuying. Is it a cover-up? I haven't seen any sign of Pei Chuying for so many days. It always feels like it's a scam. Not quite. Lu Ziwen really didn't mind if it was a scam. Alice didn't look for Lu Ziwen, but Lu Ziwen kept sending people to keep an eye on her. According to Black Hawk's Information Center, Alice's daily routine was to go to the gym, go to the racing training ground, and then play racing. She is risk-taking like a gambler and must participate in black market competitions. Many amateur racers are afraid to race with her for fear of getting into trouble. She seems to be short of money. If she wins a game, she can get a lot of bonuses. In addition, she earns a lot of money from peripheral gambling. She basically has a game every week. The information center also found out that her father is an alcoholic, her mother is a supermarket salesperson, and she has a sister and a brother at home. The relationship is not good. Alice started working when she was 15. The information shows that she is really 18 and 12 years old. She won the go-kart competition at the age of 12, and she indeed had this talent. She started racing 2 years ago. Her lover was a paid member of a racing club, so Alice trained there, and her talent was excellent. The detectives visited her neighbors and found nothing wrong. Gu Si and Lu Ziwen originally suspected that she was Pei Chuying, but they were also confused after seeing the investigation report. Alice recently asked a racing club owner to find out if Dynasty Racing was going to open a branch. News, looks very concerned. Her information is too true, Annie said. There has been no movement for so many days, and she has never been near the summit site. Maybe she is not Pei Chuying. Whether it is or not, just send someone to keep an eye on her. They drove all the way to the casino, and Alice was still playing. Lu Ziwen chuckled, I hope I'm overly concerned. When they arrived at the casino, it was already midnight. Gu Si and Lu Ziwen were safe together, so they allowed Annie and the guards to rest for a day. Seeing that she was in good spirits, Lu Ziwen asked, would you like to go play for a while? No, I want to sleep. Gu Si's sleep schedule is relatively regular, you also need to sleep. Lu Ziwen looked at her with an ambiguous expression, half smiling but not smiling, and was kicked by Gu Si. The next day, Gu Si slept until noon. The schedule for the second half of the summit was quite intensive. Gu Si had to sort out reports at night and occasionally deal with Lu Ziwen's needs. Due to severe lack of sleep, he only slept until he woke up naturally during the entire trip. When Gu Si woke up, Annie was already beside her. The third master has something to deal with. He asked you to wait for him to have lunch with him. Where is he going? Have no idea. After Gu Si drank a cup of black coffee, she simply ate some snacks to cushion her stomach. She was about to call Lu Ziwen when he called him. Lu Ziwen was downstairs. There are a lot of luxury stores in casinos. Those who can come to casinos to spend money are basically rich people. Although some people go bankrupt overnight, some people become rich overnight. Their purchasing power is very strong, so the business of luxury stores is particularly good. What's wrong? Take you to pick out a ring. Lu Ziwen should have finished his work, so he took Gu Si's hand and went to a jewelry store that Gu Si liked. Our engagement rings and wedding rings are all ordered. There's no such thing as too much jewelry. Lu Ziwen knew that Gu Si didn't like jewelry, and rarely wore it. He was very low-key. There were always occasions where jewelry was needed, so just buy it and have it ready. Many of Gu Si's jewelry were not suitable for wearing. Going out is too exaggerated and belongs to the inheritance level. We are going to register for marriage and we always need a ring. We will buy it temporarily. Okay, Gu Si chuckled and followed his wishes. An and Kono did not disturb their world. Lu Ziwen took Gu Si to the jewelry store. Many people in the store were choosing jewelry. Lu Ziwen's face attracted global attention. The shopping guide exclaimed when he saw it and subconsciously took pictures with his mobile phone. Lu Ziwen said, "We will spend 20 million today and reserve the place." "Okay, Mr. Lu, I'll be at your service right away." The shopping guide hurriedly talked to the manager and quickly came to deal with the customers in the store. Gu Sisha became calm. This was normal. He didn't want to be disturbed, so he reserved the place. Since he wanted to reserve the place, there was naturally a minimum consumption. Shopping guides are very good at handling this kind of matter. Even if customers are talking about it, they still handle it properly. Lu Ziwen wants to choose an engagement ring and 2 pairs of wedding rings. The sizes of both of them are relatively standard. There are rings for you to try on. Wedding rings are easy to choose. This brand of wedding rings is particularly famous, and 1 pair is very popular. Gu Si didn't like popular models, so she chose a pair of niche ones. They were 3-ring buckle ones, which were particularly conspicuous when worn on her hands. "Isn't this pair good looking? You like it?" Gu Si nodded. Lu Ziwen chuckled and said, "Then I want this pair." Next, it was time to choose an engagement ring. Gu Si asked Lu Ziwen to choose. Lu Ziwen chose an aquamarine ring with a square design that was particularly exaggerated. Gu Si silently complained, "This straight male aesthetic is really terrible." He was the one who complained about her unusual jewelry, and she was the one who chose the unusual ones. End of this chapter. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Shocking. She came back with a smaller version of the boss. Author, and knows. Chapter 763. Chapter 763. I don't allow you to get married. Isn't it a bit exaggerated? Lu Ziwen saw that she was wearing it on her hand, and it felt good, not too exaggerated. Even if the shopping guide couldn't understand what Gu Si said, he could still tell what Gu Si said by looking at his face. Women know women best, let alone a shopping guide for top jewelry. The shopping guide quickly took out 4 collection-level jewelry for Gu Si to choose from: a heart-shaped pink diamond, an aquamarine drop-shaped, a square diamond, a yellow diamond and a pear-shaped diamond, basically all of them. It is over 10 carats. Although it is large, the design is very exquisite, which is in line with Gu Si's aesthetics. Lu Ziwen is very fond of pink heart-shaped diamonds, and such large pink diamonds are relatively rare. Although square diamonds in the United States are more low-key, Goosey Eye owns quite a few, and there are relatively few pink diamonds in her jewelry box. Then let's take this one. This pink diamond ring is already $4 million. Goosey Eye also picked their collector's edition necklace and crown. A group of fans gathered around to take photos outside the store. It was very lively. It was like a living advertisement. Goosey Eye couldn't help but attract attention. She has long been accustomed to being the girlfriend of a public figure, and the screams, cheers, and discussions have not stirred her up in the slightest. Someone soon posted photos on Instagram of Lu Ziwen taking Goosey Eye to pick out a ring. The two were golden children. Many of them were photos of Lu Ziwen putting a ring on Goosey Eye. The photos were very clear. They also added filters to create a more atmospheric atmosphere. Concentrated. Lu Ziwen's smile is rather demonic, while Goosey Eye doesn't smile often. She always looks indifferent when trying on rings. Lu Ziwen's fans complain that he was cold-tempered, and they still feel that Lu Ziwen is being disrespectful. The number one favorite is that you can spend tens of millions and still not get a smile from your wife. Regardless of whether they are fans or reporters, the photos taken of the two together show that Lu Ziwen has gentle eyes and a charming smile, while Goosey Eye is calm and cold. The smile when he confessed his love to the world at the beach has almost never been seen since. There were a lot of tourists in the casino. As time went by, more and more fans gathered around, and security was deployed to maintain order. Goosey Eye took a look and asked Lu Ziwen, "You have been retired for a few years, and you still have so many fanatic fans. Business, the value is really scary. How much would you like to send a business quote for?" "I've never taken on a single business deal, and Ji Xian also said that he lost hundreds of millions in a few years," Lu Ziwen chuckled. His activities are basically recording life and paying attention to racing information. The two of them had chosen the ring, and the shopping guide asked if they wanted to be escorted by security. It would be too arrogant for them to carry such a valuable piece of jewelry with bare hands. "It's okay, we can just take it." An and Kono knew they were leaving, so they came over to block the fans. The human wall opened a passage for them. There were still enthusiastic fans who wanted autographs and photos. Lu Ziwen was not that unkind, so he picked a few. The children took a photo together. The number of fans was too large and it was a private schedule, so he couldn't take care of it. He has always been very willful. When he was a junior, he flirted with fans invisibly on the court, but he was much more indifferent off the court. His fans may not even spend a lot of money to chase the game. Taking photos and signing autographs all depends on your mood. But the more he behaves like this, the more enthusiastic his fans become. It is quite strange that he is said to be a fan when he smiles at the audience. Goosey Eye said, "You bought the ring in such a big way and put it on me with your own hands. We are in the casino again." Pei Chuying should have known that we were going to get the certificate when he saw it. If we didn't show up again, it would be unscientific. Lu Ziwen raised his eyebrows. "Can't I just want to buy you jewelry? I don't like jewelry. The jewelry cabinet is just gathering dust. Why did I buy so many jewelry?" Lu Ziwen defended, "You really misunderstood. I just want to buy you jewelry." Goosey Eye coldly sneered, and Lu Ziwen laughed. One was like fire and the other was ice. In the noisy crowd, a pair of hateful eyes stared at their backs, as if they were trying to poke a hole, and they were not conspicuous at all in the crowd. Lu Ziwen's fanatical fans didn't like Goosey's behavior, so they left. People would like to see their idol please a woman so much. "I'm going to the casino at night." "You're such an honorable person. What should I do if you go to the casino and cause chaos?" "I dressed up in disguise and had fun, and then I went to register," Lu Ziwen said with a chuckle. "I have already written the registration and made an appointment." "Is it too casual?" "I have combined the 8 characters, and the time is chosen based on the 8 characters. Goosey Eye. It is indeed very feudal." Goosey Eye couldn't help but ask, "When you buy a house, Do you want to look at feng shui and horoscopes? It doesn't matter if you just buy it for investment. If you want to live there for a long time, it will naturally depend on feng shui and horoscopes. Global chose it based on my horoscopes. Gu Ci was silent for a moment and asked, is it based on the horoscope of your first life or the horoscope of this life? First life. Here's the question, when you combine the horoscopes, which of my life's horoscopes do you use? Nature is this life. Oh, Gu Ci looked at him suspiciously. Lu Ziwen couldn't laugh or cry. I lied to you, the marriage was based on the horoscopes of our lifetime. Gu Ci breathed a sigh of relief and bumped his abdomen with her elbow in protest. Lu Ziwen laughed, you still care about this? Certainly. Fans have been following them, and the two of them did not go back to the hotel, but walked around the casino. After Lu Ziwen took Gu Ci to have dinner, they went to choose a chapel to get married. There are many chapels here, each with its own characteristics, so getting married is natural. She had to choose her favorite church and make an appointment with the pastor. Gu Ci chose a relatively secluded church with not many people making appointments. Lu Ziwen paid for it and made an appointment. After receiving the marriage certificate, he could come to the church to hold the ceremony. Small wedding notarization. After a set of procedures, it was still early and the casino was not busy during the day. Lu Ziwen took Gu Ci to play in the city. After learning his lesson, both of them wore hats and scarves and wrapped them tightly. Gu Ci it was my first time to come to the casino. The last time I went to watch the game with Zhou Jinjin, I didn't even have time to take a walk around. Lu Ziwen was familiar with this place and took her to play and take photos all afternoon. Gu Ci also said in the family group, by the way, she and Lu Ziwen wanted to register. Zhang Junlin. Gu Ziyu exploded when he heard this. No, absolutely not. I'm not even here, you can't get married, I don't allow it. End of this chapter. Shocking. She came back with a smaller version of the boss. Author, and knows. Chapter 764. Chapter 764, A Life of Being Bullied by the Third Master. Neither Gu Ci nor Lu Ziwen expected that Gu Ziyu would protest so strongly. Gu Ziyu was going to be mad at Lu Ziwen. Why do you want to get married on a whim? On such an important day, did you do it on purpose without me? Lu Ziwen. He really didn't mean it. Because Pei Chuying appeared and he was by Gu Ci's side, he wanted to register with her first. You always have to register to get married. It doesn't matter where you register. The wedding will be held as usual without affecting it. Even if you don't get the certificate here, you still have to choose it when you return to your country one day to get the certificate. Then why do you want to go to the church? Gu Ziyu was angry. Go to the church to hold the wedding. When you come back, it will be your second wedding. Gu Ci. Pooh, this is not how second marriage works. Gu Ziyu was probably confused, but Lu Ziwen was not used to it. When you turn 18, we won't be able to control when you get married, so you don't have to worry about us. Mom, I'm not happy anymore, I'm angry. Gu Ci acted coquettishly in distress, covering his heart and crying, my heart is cramping. Ji Xian thought to himself on the sidelines, he was obviously not proficient in his business, and his acting skills were too fake. Gu Ziyu, you're weaned. Lu Ziwen didn't know whether to laugh or cry. Gu Ziyu is a very ceremonial young man. He had planned everything well. When they got married, he was going to be the flower girl and present the ring. However, they got married secretly. The child was very unhappy because he could not be with Gu Ci for the first time. Chang Junlin said, let's make a compromise. You can just get a marriage certificate, and there is no need to go through the process. Lu Ziwen, you are all sick, right? If you just register, don't go to church, and have no witnesses, your marriage will not be protected by law. You can't go to the embassy to go through the formalities, and you won't be able to get the certificate when you come back. The domestic process will have to go through all over again. Zhang Junlin spread his hands and was a little dissatisfied, but not as strong as Gu Ziyu. There's nothing wrong with third master wanting to get the certificate. It's just him, Ziyasai, and the priest in the chapel. It's not a formal wedding, Ji Sun said. Ziyu, you are still the flower girl. Gu Ziyu was so angry that he immediately hung up the video. Gu Ci, you have such a bad temper, you dare to hang up our video, Lu Ziwen called back, but Gu Ziyu coldly hung up. When Gu Ci saw him, he called again, if you call me again, he will block you. Zhang Junlin and Ji Xian looked at each other, and Gu Ziyu's eyes were red with anger. Neither of them could quite grasp the point where Gu Ziyu cried in anger. Gu Ziyu might also feel embarrassed, so he strode upstairs. The door panel crashed loudly. This. Ji Xian scratched his head, I'm really angry. I see Zhang Junlin was a little speechless. Lu Ziwen and Gu Ci were getting married. He was a little dissatisfied. They all wanted to witness this moment with their own eyes. It would be better if they just received the certificate and didn't hold a small wedding, but they wanted to. It's always a bit regretful to hold a small wedding without any relatives around. But he won't object strongly, as long as Gu Ci is happy. I didn't expect Gu Ziyu to be so angry. Go and coax him, Zhang Junlin said. Isn't it a mistake to coax someone at this time? Don't you love him the most? Are you afraid of stepping on thunder? This emotion is too plastic. Ji Sun laughed and said, let's wait until he calms down. I'm afraid he will take his passport and buy a plane ticket and fly over. It's too late to fly over, Zhang Junlin said coolly, it will be faster to hack their system. It doesn't work if you are hacked. The third master's level is above him. Ji Sun pities Gu Ziyu, poor Ziyu, he has been bullied by the third master his whole life. Chang Junlin. He suspected that Ji Sun had never learned Chinese well because he had grown up abroad. There will be more updates tomorrow. End of this chapter. Shocking. She came back with a smaller version of the boss. Author, and knows. Chapter 765. Chapter 765 Life is a Reincarnation. Gu Ziyu was so resistant that Gu Ci hesitated a little. Lu Ziwen looked at her with a half-smile, so if Ziyu doesn't let you get married, you won't get married. That's not true, Gu Ci said, he must be crying in anger. Has Gu Ziyu been too pampered by you in the past few years? He wants the stars but not the moon. As a result, he is living longer and longer. Does he really think he is 13 years old? Gu Ci. Lu Ziwen wanted to get the certificate, mainly because he felt that he would have to get it sooner or later. People were in the casino, so he just got it and went through the formalities when he got back. A wedding is a wedding, and getting a certificate is a certificate. After obtaining the certificate abroad, there is a small wedding, which actually requires a priest to be the witness. Without this procedure, the procedure cannot be completed in China, and the marriage is not protected. Gu Ci said, we can just get the certificate, and small weddings will not be held once it's done. Can I get it again in China? Lu Ziwen wanted to open Gu Ziyu's head to see if he had water damage. Don't spoil him. After you get the certificate, notarize it and send him a short video. It will count as his participation. Gu Ci secretly thought that if you send a short video, Ziyu will think that you are provoking him. Gu Ci edited a message and sent it to Ziyu. No matter how angry Gu Ziyu was, he would not block her. However, Gu Ziyu did not reply to her after reading it. He was very cold. She would not really be unhappy with her son and get married. The plan was cancelled. Lu Ziwen obviously wanted to woo Pei Chuying. The two of them ignored Ziyu and went to choose a dress. In Gu Ci's mind, it was not a very formal wedding, so she chose a small satin white dress. Anne is considered a semi-native. Master, third master, would you like to rent a wedding car for you to have a fun time? No, just take some photos as a souvenir. Mainly for notarization, the simpler the process, the better. Annie will arrange it. She has very good photography skills. She doesn't have to go out of her way to find someone to take photos for them. She can take care of the whole process and she will definitely take them beautifully. As night fell, the carnival in the city that never sleeps also began. Lu Ziwen took Gu Si to play in the casino. By chance, he met Brown. The beauty in his arms was Alice. Alice is still a poker face. Gu Si, what a coincidence. Lu Ziwen raised his eyebrows. Yes, what a coincidence. Third Master, Brown was very surprised to see Lu Ziwen. The news that Lu Ziwen was in the casino had spread long ago, and many fans wanted to come and meet him. Brown had arrived in the casino 2 days ago, and he didn't pay attention to Lu Ziwen's news. Black Eagle is now in charge of Ji Suan, but his fear of Lu Ziwen is deep-rooted. He originally wanted to leave, but he was lucky, just in case he didn't meet him. Lu Ziwen was wearing a hat and his disguise was not particularly good. He recognized Gu Si next to Lu Ziwen at a glance. Brown thought to himself that it was a coincidence that he happened to encounter so many casinos. "Braun, when did you come?" Lu Ziwen asked with a smile. "I came here a few days ago, and I happened to be on vacation for 3 days. The third master and his wife are also here to play. Do you want to play some?" "We won't disturb your leisure time," Lu Ziwen called him with a smile. Brown thought to himself that after the third master retired, people have become much kinder, and they are actually smiling. In the past, it was harder to see a smile than to reach the sky. He smiled so much goosebumps rose on his skin, and Brown looked embarrassed when he realized that the third master might be mocking him for eating young grass. Alice is 18 years old, and his daughter is almost 18. "What a coincidence, Alice, we meet again." Lu Ziwen took the initiative to greet Alice. Alice twitched the corners of her lips lukewarmly. "It's a coincidence." "Third Master, do you know Alice?" "I've watched her race," Lu Ziwen said lightly. "She's pretty impressive. I originally wanted to recruit her to the Dynasty racing team, but unfortunately Alice doesn't seem interested." "How is it possible?" "Dynasty Racing is the #1 racing team, and it has always been Alice's dream to be a professional racing driver, isn't it?" Brown asked the girl in his arms gently. Gu Si looked at her with a half-smile, but Alice only felt embarrassed and ashamed. She had a poker face, but no one could tell what she was thinking. But the emotion was still not suppressed. "Why are you laughing?" Lu Ziwen's eyes turned cold, and Brown also understood the importance and scolded him lightly. "Alice, don't be rude. It doesn't matter if you quarrel with the third master with words. The third master has been cold-faced and cruel in the past, but don't provoke him and be obedient. The third master is just cold-faced and won't do anything to you. How many big families do they have?" After trying to commit suicide so many times, the third master also handled it lightly. If it had been Ji Xian, he would have been uprooted a long time ago. But now, although their power is not as powerful as before, several of their major families are still rich in the local area. It's okay to bump into the third master, but who knows that the third master is a wife and a rich man, so if he offends Gu Si, there will be no good consequences. "I'm laughing, you two are a perfect match," Gu Si said with a chuckle. Although Brown is old, he has taken good care of himself and has the charm of a middle-aged man. Alice herself looks a bit older, but she doesn't really notice that she is middle-aged. It feels like an uncle and an 18-year-old lowly match each other. But Alice could only suppress her temper, and Brown was happy. If she was really angry, wouldn't it mean that she disliked Brown? Gu Si and Lu Ziwen looked at each other and had no intention of playing with them. After greetings, they separated. Gu Si said, "Didn't you say she was competing?" "She got on the helicopter after the competition." "It turned out that she came to the casino," Lu Ziwen said calmly. "I guessed right." What does she want to do? Who knows? Lu Ziwen strolled in the courtyard. Let's play with ourselves and leave them alone. Gu Si also likes Texas Hold'em and Stud, and plays a table with Lu Ziwen on a whim. This kind of game that is more psychological than technical has always been loved by many players. Some rich people are addicted to food and come here specifically to have fun, and some are technical. Well, Gu Si lost 300,000 to Lu Ziwen in the first game, and won it back in the second game. After playing 3 games, he made a lot of money overnight. Overall, he made a few 100,000. Everyone in the casino was having a carnival. Although Annie followed them, she was looking in all directions and was very concerned about Alice's position, fearing that she would be a threat to the third master and Gu Si. But Alice and Brown seemed to be more interested in slot machines. They have been playing at the slot machine and have never come over to play with Lu Ziwen. Brown has a grudge in his heart, and thinks to herself that back then, Brown was quite unconvinced that the third master came to power. When the third master was in a car accident, he was still forced to have a pregnancy, but he didn't expect that now he is afraid of the third master. Thinking about it carefully, it seems that the third master has not done anything to the members of the Black Hawk family in recent years. He has only confiscated half of the property and reduced the power. This has not harmed them. On the contrary, they are more fearful and more miraculous. The situation is different for the Ji-Dao. Their awe and obedience to Zhang Junlin seems to be deep in their bones, and they can go through life and death for him with just one word. Lu Ziwen and Gu Si played in the casino for nearly 3 hours, until almost 11 o'clock, and there was still more than half an hour before registration. Lu Ziwen was still playing stud, and Gu Si said, "I'm going to the bathroom." "Okay." Annie followed Gu Si to the bathroom. Annie said, "Master, I heard that when the third master first landed in the Black Hawk, people from several major families were not convinced. They decided life and death at the gambling table. The third master has superb card skills and has long been known in the world. Rumor has it, it's really amazing that you can beat him. He taught me how to play cards. How can I beat him? He let me down, and I know how much I weigh." Gu Si said with a chuckle, "But if he was not at the gambling table, I would definitely be able to beat others. That's very powerful, but I can't do it. I always lose in every bet." The two of them entered the bathroom talking and laughing. But when Annie came out of the bathroom, there was no trace of Gu Si. Annie frowned and searched the entire bathroom, but she didn't see Gu Si. As she walked out, Annie dialed Lu Ziwen's phone number. As soon as she left the bathroom, she was shot at gunpoint. Pointing to his head, the visitor said in a cold voice, "Be smart and don't talk nonsense." A drop of sweat seeped out from Annie's forehead. The phone was connected, and Lu Ziwen's voice came, "What's the matter?" "Third master, the master said that the casino is too boring. She is waiting for you at the west gate." "Okay, I understand." Lu Ziwen hung up the phone and looked at Kono. Kono nodded and left in a hurry. Lu Ziwen discarded his cards, got up and left the card table and walked out. Gu Si was quite surprised to see Pei Chuying again. Alice is really not Pei Chuying, but Alice is by Pei Chuying's side and obeys her words. She is handcuffed to the car and speeds out of the casino. "Gu Si, long time no see." Pei Chuying's voice was very hoarse, as if her vocal cords were broken. "Long time no see," Gu Si said calmly, not anxious. She seems to have always been like this. Except when she went crazy and was very anxious about controlling Lu Ziwen, she was calm about everything. "You didn't expect that we would meet again, did you?" "You are indeed blessed with good fortune," Gu Si said. "I should have thought that you have your own business and your own manpower in the Ji-Dao for so many years. You have to see people in life and see corpses in death to avoid such embarrassment. Situation occurs." Pei Chuying laughed and turned around. She had been sitting in the passenger seat with her back to Gu Si, with her black hair covering half of her face. Now when she turned around, Gu Si saw the woman she described as ghostly, a fair-skinned and beautiful woman back then. Half of his face was covered in scars, with staggered scars. If Gu Si had not lived with such a face for many years, he would have been shocked and frightened. It was very scary at first glance. Your face. Gu Si frowned, and the old scars became particularly terrifying under the long black hair. Alice said bitterly, "It's because of you that my sister has become such a human being and a ghost." The sound of sister also reminded Gu Si that Pei Chuying and North were half-sisters. She was Qinhuan's savior. She helped North send Qinhuan away. It seems like you must be very proud of this grimace, right? The off-road vehicle was running wildly on the deserted lane, and the woman's hoarse and resentful words were in his ears. When Gu Si saw Pei Chuying, he thought of himself in his previous life. Life is really a cycle. Gu Chuiyun and Lu Shizhou were not that capable of concealing their identity. Black Eagle and Ji Dao were both in trouble. Pei Chuying was so obsessed with Lu Ziwen. Her injuries, her pain, and her disfigurement were all caused by Gu Chuiyun. The instigation may not be without Pei Chuying's handwriting. Now, Pei Chuying has become the person she was in the previous life. End of this chapter. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Shocking. She came back with a smaller version of the boss. Author, and knows. Chapter 766. Chapter 766. See you in the next life. Gu Si suggested from a professional perspective, with plastic surgery, your face can be restored to 80%. Pei Chuying was startled. She didn't expect Gu Si to say such a thing. She laughed wildly. Gu Si, when you see me like this, shouldn't you add insult to injury? Gu Si said calmly, why bother to trap yourself in a besieged city for a man who doesn't love you? That's what my best friend told me when I went crazy and wanted to control Lu Ziwen. I have a great youth, a brother, and a family. I have friends. Why can't I be better than Lu Ziwen at the expense of everyone? Why do I have to fight with him to the end? I didn't listen, so you may not listen to what I said to you since I saw Ellie at the racing track. Silk, Lu Ziwen became suspicious. Of course, he looked in the wrong direction and thought you had undergone plastic surgery to become Alice. After coming to the casino, we always felt that there was a pair of eyes staring behind us, but we couldn't find Alice. During the game, we thought maybe we were being suspicious and overthinking. Until Alice appeared in the casino, I felt that everything was not that simple. You took me away from the bathroom so easily because I wanted to know. Lu Ziwen and you both know what you are going to do, but there is nothing you can do about it. Really? Pei Chuying laughed, are you so confident? Yes. Then he is really willing to let you take risks. I'm not his daughter Flower, Gu Si said lightly, what on earth are you going to do? With a flash of silver light, Alice pulled out her dagger and put it against Gu Si's neck. The sharp edge drew a blood mark. Gu Si stepped back slightly. Alice said in a resentful tone, sister, I'll help you kill her. Alice, Pei Chuying's voice was hoarse and flat, and she parked the car aside. Alice, get out of the car and give me a ride. Elder sister. Be obedient. Pei Chuying's tone was cold. Alice looked at Gu Si bitterly and put away the dagger. Unexpectedly, Pei Chuying asked the driver to get out of the car. Pei Chuying grabbed Gu Si and stuffed her into the passenger seat. She drove. Alice ran to the car window and banged on the door. Sister, what are you going to do? Pei Chuying said nothing, stepped on the accelerator, and the car disappeared into the night. Gu Si was not sure what Pei Chuying wanted to do, but she felt very calm in her heart. She knew that Lu Ziwen must be not far away. Pei Chuying really wanted to kill her and he would have killed her long ago. I followed you for 3 days, from Los Angeles to the casino. I have never seen him smile so happily. I always thought he had a dual personality. The third master and Lu Ziwen are different people. The person I love is the third master. The person Lu Ziwen loves is you. You are lucky. Lu Ziwen chose you firmly and persistently, so you won over me. Unexpectedly, they all love you. Why? Why you? This thought has been in my heart for so many years. It has flashed through countless times. Even if I die, I will die knowingly. She pressed the accelerator to the bottom, and while she was speeding at high speed, her heartbeat accelerated instantly, as if she was about to be thrown out of the car window at any time. Gu Si was handcuffed and did not move around, so she closed her eyes. Pei Chuying, ever since you were young, you have always had people to chase you, right? The car slowed down a little, and Gu Si said, the Pei family and the Zhang family are family friends. My uncle said that when you were a child, you were a polite and quiet girl. You and your brother were childhood sweethearts who grew up together. If you hadn't settled abroad with the Pei family in your childhood, you and your brother grew up together, and the two families might be able to get married. Although this was the wishful thinking of my uncle and my grandfather, it also shows that you were very lovable as a child. Is it worth turning yourself into this for Lu Ziwen? If he falls in love with someone else, you'll be crazier than me. That's true, Gu Si didn't deny it, but she thought about it carefully. If it was 5 years ago, she would have gone crazy. Would she now? Gu Si thought, not necessarily. It's not that she didn't love Lu Ziwen as much as she did 5 years ago. It's that she came out of the gloom and was in a more peaceful mood. She was even mentally prepared to lose Lu Ziwen. Then what do you want to do when you come to me now? The high seas. Gu Si was handcuffed to the railing, and Pei Chuying stood on the deck facing the wind, half of her ghostly face looking even more ugly in the moonlight. Gu Si remembered that many years ago, she and Pei Chuying met at sea, and she fell to the bottom of the sea. Lu Ziwen fell silently on the deck, frowning at the handcuffed Gu Si. Pei Chuying, you really can't shed tears until you see the coffin. Isn't it good to live? You have to seek death. Pei Chuying turned around. She seemed to want to fight when he saw Lu Ziwen on the phone. He put away the phone again. Lu Ziwen also saw half of her face that was destroyed. Gu Si's destroyed face was more terrifying than hers. Lu Ziwen was unmoved, and he didn't care about why she turned into a woman. So, we grew up together as childhood sweethearts, but you really have no friendship with me at all. When Pei Chuying saw him, she still subconsciously covered her face. Her eyes were crazy and full of passionate love. No, Lu Ziwen said, we have a relationship where we each get what we need. I have never done or said anything to make you misunderstand. Your unrequited love has caused so many things. I really don't know what to do. He resented her entanglement. Pei Chuying could clearly see the disgust in Lu Ziwen's eyes. Gu Si was the most relaxed person. His wrists shook slightly and he was almost about to unlock the handcuffs. Pei Chuying couldn't tell whether she hated Lu Ziwen more or loved Lu Ziwen more. She looked miserable and watched Lu Ziwen walking towards Gu Si. She was also indifferent, as if she was hurt by Lu Ziwen's words. Lu Ziwen looked at Gu Si's neck. There was a little blood on her neck, but it was harmless. Lu Ziwen asked, are there any injuries? Gu Si shook her head. This was her and Lu Ziwen's plan. From beginning to end, he disapproved of it, but he followed her. If you ask me, why do I have to let you live a good life and come to trouble you, I will tell you. Pei Chuying wiped her tears. I have late-stage leukemia. The doctor said it can take as short as 1 month and as long as 3 months. I don't have many days to live, so I must ask, Lu Ziwen, why Gu Si? Gu Si had long suspected that Pei Chuying was ill. Her complexion was so bad and she was so thin that she looked like she had a serious disease. As a doctor, she was very sensitive about this, and she did not expect that she would have late-stage leukemia. And hopeless. No wonder it has been silent for the past 5 years. In the past few years, I have disappeared, changed my name and lived peacefully. I don't want to dwell on the past, but I was confirmed to have leukemia. It was already in the advanced stage when the disease occurred, and I was going to die anyway. I must ask you why you can fly. Why have you liked Goosey Eye so much since you were a child? I want to know whether Third Master and Lu Ziwen are one person or two. Just because she never explored Lu Ziwen's secrets doesn't mean that she doesn't know anything. Goosey Eye and Lu Ziwen looked at each other, and Pei Chuying said, "Am I going to die without hearing a single word of truth?" Lu Ziwen's affairs have always been kept tight-lipped in order to avoid what happened in Tangmingzhou from happening again and causing unnecessary commotion. Don't worry, there's no internet in this sea. I'm not that capable of broadcasting your secret in public, Pei Chuying said. I just want to understand before I die. Lu Ziwen said, I have lived for many years and in all my life, I have only loved Goosey Eye. This is the reason. Neither Lu Ziwen nor the Third Master has ever loved you, let alone shown any sympathy. He said it very ruthlessly and had no idea of hospice care. Pei Chuying never thought that this was the reason, or she thought of it but didn't want to believe it. No wonder there were so many strange things about Lu Ziwen. She sat on the deck blankly. So that's it, so I didn't lose to Goosey Eye, I just lost to fate, ha 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 ha, that's it? Pei Chuying, Goosey Eye had a bad feeling. I am a person who is about to die. Before I die, I just want to ask for an understanding, Pei Chuying murmured to herself, suddenly raised her head, and gave a weird smile. Now that you understand, then, we will die together, see you in the next life. She suddenly pressed the phone she had been playing with, and with her weird smile, the entire yacht suddenly exploded, with flames shooting into the sky. It's really offline this time. End of this chapter. Shocking. She came back with a smaller version of the boss. Author, and knows. Chapter 767. Chapter 767. I am very futile. Lu Ziwen held Goosey Eye and soaked in the cold sea water. He looked at the fire that exploded not far away. The entire yacht was blown to pieces. Goosey Eye soaked in the sea water with lingering fear. Fortunately, she never trusted Pei Chuying. Sadness is it's true that she wanted to die together, so she kept trying to unlock the handcuffs. If she couldn't unlock the handcuffs, Lu Ziwen wouldn't be able to take her away. They would really be blown to death by Pei Chuying at sea, and she would not die soon. Yes, I want to drag them to be buried together. How are your hands? Lu Ziwen raised her hands. Goosey's wrists had been handcuffed, and he pulled her slightly when he just carried her away. She had just unhooked the handcuffs, and her wrists were scratched and soaked in the sea water. It hurt slightly, but not seriously. On the sea, a cruise ship approached the explosion point. The aircraft circled the sea. Lu Ziwen and Goosey Eye were quickly found. Annie and Guanwei were both on the ship. They put up ladders and brought the two people up. Goosey Eye sat on the deck. Annie wrapped her in a thick blanket and looked towards the direction of the fire. She felt a little sad for some reason. She didn't sympathize with Pei Chuying, but she just thought of her past self. She was once so desperate and wanted to pull a group of people to die together. No matter who persuades her, it's useless. Even if there is Ziyu around her, she can't suppress the hatred in her heart. But she doesn't stop because of love, it's because her enemy killed her beloved. Pei Chuying had a good starting point in life. It was supposed to be a smooth sailing and wealthy life, but she ended up like this because of her obsession. If she had not treated her mental illness 5 years ago, she would still be as extreme. Lu Ziwen Ruo, if I really don't love her anymore, she will end up like Pei Chuying. She is luckier than Pei Chuying in that she has a son, a brother, and a family. The most important thing is that Lu Ziwen loves her. Maybe she was unhappy in the past, but it has disappeared and she has regained a new life. She will no longer be awakened by the nightmare of the past. Master, change your clothes, Annie said, helping her go to the cabin to change clothes. Lu Ziwen stood on the deck, looking at the direction of the fire. Send the aircraft over, I want to make sure she is dead. There is no chance of escape for Pei Chuying. Pei Chuying's hateful eyes before she died. If she hadn't died, Gu Ci would never have peace. Yes, Conway thought to himself. With this level of explosion, Pei Chuying would not be able to fly out of the sea even with wings. He would definitely be dead. It would be dangerous for people to get close to him, which would lead to a second explosion. They all sent aircraft over. As soon as the aircraft passed by, the yacht turned out to be true. Another explosion occurred, and the entire cabin disintegrated. Even if there was a breath, there was no possibility of survival. Lu Ziwen breathed a sigh of relief. When he was training Pei Chuying, he never thought that he would develop a close friend. She was familiar with everything about the Jida and Black Eagle. She had been the leader of the Black Eagle sect for many years and had a wide network of contacts. She really escaped from danger. There has been no news from her in the past 5 years. If she had not been diagnosed with a terminal illness and her life was not long, she might have kept a low profile. The smartest person in this matter was Chen Rishi. Knowing Pei Chuying's hatred and extremeness, he gave Pei Chuying everything he wanted for revenge, including people, money, and information. He also took the initiative to lure Gu Ci and him to Los Angeles, but did not directly intervene in Pei Chuying's revenge. He used a skill of borrowing a knife to kill people. But not a drop of blood. Lu Ziwen sneered, how could anything be so cheap in the world? After the thrilling night, Lu Ziwen started to deal with the follow-up matters, and Gu Ci didn't care anymore. Alice was just a little kid and had nothing to be afraid of. Brown was a pure wronged in this matter. He didn't want to kill Lu Ziwen. Motives: Lu Ziwen has been extremely benevolent to several major families, and they have long lost the power to compete with Lu Ziwen. Now Black Eagle is still paying dividends to several major families. If they don't eat or drink, their descendants will be prosperous and wealthy, so why bother to commit suicide? The most important thing is Chen Rishi. Gu Ci was minding her own business. She didn't care how Lu Ziwen and Zhang Junlin were going to deal with Chen Rishi. As soon as she woke up, Gu Ci made a video call. Mom, are you okay? Mom's hand is injured. Gu Ci raised her wrist in frustration. In fact, it was only slightly injured. She soaked it in seawater. Gu Ci wrapped a circle of gauze around it to avoid bacterial infection. In addition, she soaked in seawater in the winter. She had a slight fever and seemed to be in poor condition. Gu Ci couldn't care less about being angry, and felt sorry for Gu Ci. Dad is so useless, how dare you get hurt? If I were here, Mom would be unscathed. Gu Ci thought to herself, Bao, you are really good. Be confident. Yeah, it's all because Dad is useless. The baby is not angry, Gu Ci coaxed softly. Gu Ci flat-mouthed, feeling aggrieved, Mom, you need to take medicine and take good care of yourself. You can do whatever you want. I'm not angry anymore. Are you really not angry? I'm not that stingy. Gu Ci chuckled and teased the young man in the video. Yes, Xiu is the most generous. Is Pei Chuying dead? Gu Ci nodded, and Gu Xiu was indignant. I shouldn't have found a safe place for her in the first place and let her fend for herself. I really don't understand. She has already escaped. If she doesn't cherish life, she still has to do it, seek death. He cherishes his current life very much and wishes that time would go slower and slower. He is afraid of returning to the dark again, so he cherishes every day and every moment. Even want to create value for society. Gu Ci was groggy, so she asked Annie to buy medicine, and took an antipyretic injection herself. She didn't like taking medicine very much, and the injection healed faster. Lu Ziwen's physical fitness was much better than hers, and nothing happened after soaking in seawater. He stayed with Gu Si after handling some official duties. Even when Gu Si slept, he did not leave. When Gu Si woke up, her fever had subsided and she was in much better spirits. "Do you still want to get the certificate?" Gu Si hooked his fingers and looked at him with a half smile. "The good time has passed." Lu Ziwen chuckled, knowing that she was teasing him, so he didn't say much. "Then I won't accept it. It was just to catch Pei Chuying. The fish are all dead, so there is no need to make Ziyu angry." Gu Si chuckled and said, "Who is so stubborn and doesn't care about Ziyu's happiness and anger? It's a good time and auspicious time has passed. I am very feudal." Gu Si. Today's update: I feel uncomfortable, huh? End of this chapter. Shocking. She came back with a smaller version of the boss. Author, and knows. Chapter 768. Chapter 768. Her child is Fang Mingheng's. Qinwan has been extremely irritable these past 2 days. Her vigorous body has become uncomfortable due to pregnancy. She has to vomit when she wakes up in the morning. She also has a poor appetite and nothing she eats tastes good. She eats more in one meal than Chen Liangdong and North combined. "I feel tired of everything I watch recently, and I always feel full. I eat some pumpkin porridge at night, and I don't feel hungry the next morning. I feel nauseated after trying to eat. Every time I lie on the toilet, I retching, but I can't spit it out." With tears welling up in his eyes, he scolded all 18 generations of Rong Li's ancestors. "Baby, you won't starve to death by me, right?" Dr. North was speechless. He is still an embryo. "What should I do if I feel nauseated no matter what I eat?" Qinwan didn't expect that pregnancy would be so uncomfortable. With such a strong body, she should have been pregnant until October. Pregnancy reactions vary from person to person. "I'll wait and see for a few more days." "Do you have anything in particular that you want to eat?" Dr. North also felt sorry for her suffering. Qinwan's taste has changed drastically. He used to like to eat noodles, but recently the sight of noodles makes him want to vomit. He has no interest in eating anything, sour or sweet. He can't think of what to eat at the moment. "Crab." "No need," Dr. North rejected her ruthlessly. "I'm afraid your child won't want 2 crabs a day." Qinwan waved his hand boredly. "Forget it, I'm not hungry either." Dr. North asked her to weigh herself. Compared to the previous 2 days, she was 2.5 pounds lighter. She frowned. Chen Liangdong prepared snacks in different ways. She would eat 1 or 2 pieces when she was really hungry. She felt like a pure the tool man could no longer taste the food. If he continues to be like this, will he be malnourished? Will not. Qinwan was not feeling well, and was even less willing to stay at home. He would go back to work tomorrow. Both North and Chen Liangdong started to get busy, leaving Zhou Jinjin idle. Zhou Jinjin said that she wanted to go to the park with Zhou Jinjin to relax. Zhou Jinjin said, "I'm in Jinfei's hometown." "Why did you go to Jinfei's hometown?" "I'm free, there will be a lot of announcements in a few days, and he will take office in these few days. I will chase my husband." Zhou Jinjin was full of energy. "Strike while the iron is hot, lest the cooked duck fly away." Qinwan said, "Chen Fei is really ignorant." Humph, his mother even arranged a blind date for him. She was an armed policewoman. I was so angry looking at their professions, they were a better match. Zhou Jinjin was quite depressed. She was a well-known star, so how could she be inferior to others? "What's Jinfei's reason for rejecting you?" "He is not worthy of me." Zhou Jinjin snorted coldly. "Whether he is worthy or not is up to me, not him." What they said is also true. Qinwan didn't care much about the well-matched family, But what Chen Fei said was indeed true. Chen Fei was born in a small county. His family was not poor, but not rich either. Zhou Jinjin was a big star. If he really wanted to, being a military wife requires sacrificing a lot of things, and it may not be so free. Qin Wan didn't care about their emotional disputes, she was still in a mess herself. She planned to go out alone to relax. The fetus was not stable in the first few months of pregnancy, so her favorite sports were neglected. Qin Wan could only visit parks with better scenery and go hiking. Coincidentally, Fang Mingheng asked her to go shopping together. The maple leaves were red this season. The ginkgo trees in major parks in Sitia had faded and the maple leaves were red. It was the most beautiful time. Qin Wan was in a good mood, so he agreed to the appointment. Fang Mingheng came to pick her up. After that meeting, Fang Mingheng chatted with Qin Wan every now and then. He was not very enthusiastic, but he was not cold either. Qin Wan's personality was similar to that of a boy. In fact, he had many common topics, from economics to sports. They were able to chat, and the two of them had a good conversation. This was the first time that Fang Mingheng made an invitation alone. He is a photography enthusiast, and the scenery was just right, so he took his camera out to take pictures of the scenery. Maple Leaf Garden is a relatively remote park with not many people. The park with the better maple leaf scenery in the city is crowded with people. Qin Wan doesn't like to join in the fun, and Fang Mingheng doesn't like to join in the fun in the city center. They all went to a park more than 50 kilometers away. Everyone will go back to work tomorrow, isn't Blackhawk busy? Rongli and Ji Xian are busy. After the new year, everyone will take a day or two to relax. There is nothing important. Fang Mingheng was dressed very casually today, with sneakers and a white down jacket. He stood out among the crowd. He took a camera to take pictures of the scenery. Asked Qin Wan to be her model, and he took several photos of Qin Wan, from the front, the side, and the back. Qin Wan also wore a white thin down jacket. The background was the maple forest and the lake light, which reflected each other and was so beautiful. Fang Mingheng was filled with admiration and felt even more excited. This temperament was so amazing. Although she has the appearance of a little white flower, her eyebrows have a heroic spirit. Her appearance is both sassy and soft. Fang Mingheng is not shy about praising her appearance. Qin Wan is a girl who exercises all year round. She has a slender figure and very low body fat. The figure is also very beautiful. Standing by the lake and in the maple forest, it looks like a famous painting. Qin Wan also saw the photos taken by Fang Mingheng. I thought you said you liked photography casually, but I didn't expect you really have a talent for it. I have studied it specifically, Fang Mingheng said. When I was studying abroad, I didn't like to socialize with international students if I wasn't busy with my studies. I would visit museums and art galleries. Most of the time I would take a camera with me to take pictures of the scenery and see the local culture. Of course, he always has a female companion by his side. Fang Mingheng is best at photographing people. The photos he took of his predecessors could be published in 10 photo albums. The photo was really good. I look better in the photo than in reality. No, people are more beautiful. Fang Mingheng's eyes were like lakes in the sun, with an indescribable tenderness. He knew he was good looking, knew how to maximize his charm, and was good at releasing his own charm. Qin Wan didn't take this move. He was like a wooden person and didn't react, let alone showed any shyness as Fang Mingheng expected. Fang Mingheng also took a few photos with his mobile phone and sent them to Qin Wan. Qin Wan didn't even need to pose for the photos. He just stood there and looked good. Fang Mingheng knew how to choose the composition himself, and the effect of the photos taken with his mobile phone was also very good. He smiled and asked, "Can I post your photo on Moments? Don't show off your face." Okay. Enjoying the beautiful scenery in winter, Qin Wan took a few pictures and sent them to Chen Liangdong. Chen Liangdong responded with a thumbs up and asked her to have fun and relax. After Qin Wan went out to see the scenery, her body felt comfortable and she no longer felt nauseous. I feel sick all the time at home. There is a snack city in the park, which offers pancakes, hot dogs, various noodles, and snacks. Fang Mingheng asked, would you like something to eat? Qin Wan also had some appetite. Okay, I want to eat hot and sour noodles. Good. Fang Mingheng ordered hot and sour noodles. He was quite good at it. In addition to ordering hot and sour noodles, he also ordered stinky tofu and mutton. He also ordered a soup noodle. This noble young man didn't seem to be picky about food. Qin Wan finished a bowl of hot and sour noodles and a few pieces of stinky tofu. Feeling that his appetite had just been whetted, he happily ordered another, and then got out of control and ate 3 bowls of hot and sour noodles. Fang Mingheng. This was the first time he met a woman with such a contrasting appearance. Fang Mingheng has outstanding looks, a superior family background, and is generous with his gifts. Although he is a high-ranking noble son, he is emotionally stable and has a gentlemanly style. Girls have shown love to him since he was a child, and they want to show their best and most elegant side in front of him. Eat hot and sour noodles on a date? It is absolutely impossible. Even after a few weeks of dating and they are relatively familiar with each other, his girlfriend will not do this. She wishes that she would be a perfect woman in front of him, and some of them would even wear light makeup to bed. There is no woman like Qin Wan, who is free and easy, laughs when she wants, eats when she wants, and ate 3 bowls in one go, without caring about her image. She doesn't care at all if she scares the other person with her food intake on a date. Fang Mingheng was smiling. For him, this was the freshest date. Is it so delicious? Fang Mingheng asked with a smile. He also ordered one and took a taste. It was sour and spicy, just normal tapioca flour, nothing special. The taste is indescribable. The main reason is that I'm hungry when I'm hungry, everything tastes delicious. It's rare to have a meal without vomiting, so why not eat it happily? 3 bowls is a bit much. It may cause stomach bloating. Take it easy. If you like it, wait until you have digested it before eating again. Fang Mingheng was afraid that she would eat too much in one go. Qin Wan was the woman with the largest appetite he had ever seen. Men don't have this appetite. It's nothing, it's all vermicelli, it will be digested in a while. Qin Wan was craving for hot dogs again and bought 2 hot dogs. Fang Mingheng. He found it really interesting. Do you like to eat fans? Right. Still like to eat junk food. This is not junk food, this is happy food. Eating it makes me happy. Don't college students just love eating these? You don't like eating, do you? Qin Wan saw that he didn't even use his chopsticks. A Western restaurant is suitable for you. My favorite cuisine is Cantonese cuisine and creative cuisine. I don't eat much Western food, I get tired of it when I'm studying. I love Sichuan and Hunan cuisine. Any delicious recommendations? The two chatted about each other's preferences and tastes, which was considered very congenial. After Qin Wan had eaten and drank, she continued shopping and even took a small locomotive train. Fang Mingheng took photos of her. Fang Mingheng posted a set of landscape photos. There were 2 photos of Qin Wan in the Zhegang grid. They were Qin Wan's profile and back. Qin Wan had beautiful bones and an extremely good-looking profile. He was eye-catching in the red maple. Countless likes. Ji Sun also arrived, and he didn't mind commenting on the excitement. Yo, new girlfriend. He did not recognize Qin Wan for a moment, and the angle of his profile was not that obvious. Wrongly glanced at it casually and clicked like it before throwing the phone aside. Fang Mingheng returned to Ji Sun in pursuit. Wrongly secretly thought that he was interested in Qin Wan a few days ago, but he was chasing someone else so quickly. What a playboy. 20 minutes later, Ji Sun poked him. Ji Sun, what a big gossip. Is Qin Wan's child Fang Mingheng's? What nonsense are you talking about? Fang Mingheng and Qin Wan had just met. He didn't like the names of Fang Mingheng and Qin Wan being connected together at all. He felt inexplicably uncomfortable. Ji Sun said, "Look at the moments, that's Qin Wan." Rong Li squinted his eyes, clicked on the WeChat moments and looked carefully. He swiped to the WeChat moments and clicked a like without clicking on the picture at all. Fang Mingheng's WeChat moments liked to post daily, and both he and Ji Sun liked it when they saw it. Friendship. Clicking on the picture, it turned out to be Qin Wan. Ji Sun turned around to look at Fang Mingheng after seeing Qin Wan's post on moments. Qin Wan's dress was exactly the same as the woman in the photo Fang Mingheng sent, and Ji Sun realized something was wrong. Rong Li recognized Qin Wan at a glance and became angry immediately. "They are actually dating," Ji Xian said. "This is not exciting. Fang Mingheng can do it. He can hide it deeply enough. Qin Wan's appearance matches his aesthetics, but his personality is not at all." Rong Li looked at the circle of friends, his eyes almost bursting with fire. He simply put it aside and stopped caring about it. But he was not in the mood to work. He would go to work tomorrow. There were many things to be arranged on the first day of the new year, but he left. God! What does Qin Wan mean? Why do you want to date Fang Mingheng? Have they really seen each other? Damn it! He swept up the car keys and walked out. When he reached the door, he remembered the winter, so he turned back and picked up his coat. In the park, Qin Wan felt better in her stomach after digesting food. Someone was barbecuing in the park, and she felt a little nauseous when she smelled the fumes. Fang Mingheng asked with concern, "What's wrong? Did you just eat too much and your stomach feels uncomfortable?" "No, it's like this for the first 3 months of pregnancy." Fang Mingheng. End of this chapter. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Shocking. She came back with a smaller version of the boss. Author, and knows. Chapter 769. Chapter 769 Idiot in Love. Fang Mingheng was dumbfounded, as if he was hallucinating. Why is he pregnant? Isn't this single? He also asked Zhou Jinjin specifically. Zhou Jinjin said that Qin Wan had a good rapport with the opposite sex, and they basically became brothers. He had not been in love in the past few years in college and postgraduate school. Although he had become brothers with the opposite sex, he was actually very good at it. She is modest and rarely makes appointments alone in private. They are basically group activities, such as playing ball and having dinner parties. They are all a group of people. She has never seen her being particularly close to anyone and has no intention of falling in love. Pregnant. Oh, I forgot to tell you, I'm more than a month pregnant. Qin Wan was worried. I didn't want to eat anything I smelled the past few days, and I felt like vomiting at home. After going out for a walk, I felt much better and my appetite improved. Fang Mingheng remembered that when he made an appointment with Qin Wan today, he originally asked her to go out for dinner and shopping together. Qin Wan said that he wanted to come to the park to see the scenery, so Fang Mingheng changed his strategy and came to the park together. They had a great conversation. Although Qin Wan had a bad temper, irritable, but not difficult to get along with. Now that he was pregnant, Fang Mingheng was stunned. Are you pregnant? That's right, didn't Rong Li tell you? Qin Wan raised her eyebrows. She thought Rong Li and Fang Mingheng were friends and she should have known about this earlier, but she didn't expect him to look confused. Rong Li never said that. Fang Mingheng was a little surprised. Is your child Rong Li's? Qin Wan was startled and then became angry. I have nothing to do with him at all. Fang Mingheng thought that Qin Wan's attitude toward Rong Li was indeed not very similar. He couldn't help but ask, do you have a boyfriend? I don't have a boyfriend, but I'm pregnant. Qinwan spread her hands. I'm also very troubled. Fang Mingheng's smile was a bit forced. Congratulations. I thought Rong Li told you. Fang Mingheng thought to himself that Rong Li didn't seem to want to talk to him about Qinwan at all, so he didn't ask. No wonder Rong Li said that. It turned out to be a hint to him, but he didn't understand. Are you going to give birth to him? Right. It's hard to be single and take care of a child. I know, Qinwan said happily. It doesn't matter. Aren't you going to tell the child's father? He died in a car accident. It's not important. Fang Mingheng. Qinwan looked so unimportant that Fang Mingheng couldn't say anything for a moment. Qinwan also realized that something was wrong. You want to chase me? Fang Mingheng smiled bitterly. Am I too reserved? You were so proactive, you didn't even notice. I didn't see it, Qinwan said lightly. I thought you were taking pictures of the scenery together when you were free, so I let you down. Are you not interested in me at all? This is secondary. I am a pregnant woman, but you are still interested in me. Fang Mingheng's expression paused. Qinwan spread her hands to show her understanding. She was not disappointed at all, let alone angry. It was human nature. Fang Mingheng was a young master of noble birth, with outstanding abilities. What kind of woman did he want? Why did he find her an unmarried man? Pregnant. Wouldn't it be nice for him to find a girl he loves and have his own child? Why would he want to be a father? Not to mention that Fang Mingheng's background is not willing. Just ask any man on the street who would be willing. He is not a childhood sweetheart and has no deep emotional foundation. Who wants to be a father? Isn't this a fool? Sorry, Fang Mingheng was extremely regretful. I really like you. When you and I first met, how much did we like each other? It's just that I have a little bit of beauty that suits your eyes. The next one will be better, Qinwan said. I am not suitable for falling in love, and I have no intention of falling in love with anyone. Too much trouble. Then we can be friends, Fang Mingheng said with a chuckle. This is the reality of adult love. Even if the love ends in vain and there is no fate, Qinwan's status is here, and the relationship cannot be too tense. It is also very easy to be friends. Good. Let's just be friends. We don't keep in touch with often, Qinwan said lightly. I don't like Rong Li's friends. If you and Rong Li are no longer friends, I can consider making friends with you. I'm curious, how did Rong Li offend you? The number of things he has done to me is countless. Your attitude is like that of a couple who fell in love and broke up. Forget it, we're not familiar with each other. Qinwan waved her hand. Let's stop this topic. Fang Mingheng is not a particularly troubled person. He does like Qinwan. If Qinwan is not pregnant, he may have some ideas. Qinwan's family background is not bad, and it would be good for the two of them to cultivate into a good person. But if Qinwan is pregnant, he will not thinking about it again. It would be impossible for Qinwan to be a lover with his personality. He would not cause trouble for himself, and he was not so confident that he dared to let Chen Liangdong's daughter be his lover. You are really different. Although Fang Mingheng regretted that she was not destined to be with her and that she was pregnant before marriage, he did not dislike Qinwan at all and spoke more calmly and openly. Do you know? Accepting a man's invitation in private implies that you can develop further. Qinwan was confused. Where do these rules come from? This is an unwritten rule between men and women. Funny, Qinwan frowned. We don't have such rules among friends. Is it possible that others have this awareness but you didn't notice it? Fang Mingheng asked with a smile. A single woman agrees to eat alone with a man and watch a movie alone. This is a date, which means that each other can take the next step. Develop. This is the unwritten rule between unmarried men and women. Nowadays, marriage and love are all about fast food culture, and fewer people are patient. Therefore, boys and girls they like will take the initiative to ask out. Accepting the invitation means that they can make further progress. This is the adult world, and everyone thinks so. Wait a minute. Chinwan raised her hand. I'm going to visit the park today. I want to come. You have to join me. I didn't take the initiative to invite you. She didn't intend to take the blame, and she didn't give Fang Mingheng any hint. Yes, Fang Mingheng laughed, I misunderstood. You are beautiful and have a cheerful personality. Haven't you ever gone out to eat or watched a movie alone with others? Have others misunderstood that you can have a further development? You didn't notice. End of this chapter. Shocking. She came back with a smaller version of the boss. Author, and knows. Chapter 770. Chapter 770. Maple leaves are really red. Chinwan was silent. She propped her chin up in thought. She was a relatively independent person. She had been like this since she was a child. It seemed to be in her genes. When she was bullied in the orphanage when she was a child, she never suffered any loss and just rode on her. She is a critical blow to others, and she must retaliate when bullied. As a result, Yu is not very popular. Because she is so capable of beating, others are a little afraid of her. Both boys and girls don't like her. Later, after she was adopted, she restrained her temper at first, but later stopped. Only Zhang Junlin could suppress her flames, so she obeyed him. When she was in college, her temper had been smoothed out a lot, and she was not so independent. Especially in the past 5 years after Zhang Junlin's identity was exposed, she knew what kind of path she wanted to take, so she gradually matured and her temper became much better. She was also relatively independent during college, and Gu Ci was also very independent. Innos because of her, she could chat with Gu Ci. She could interact with anyone on the surface. She had a group of people around her and could hold a party at any time. In fact, there are almost no people who really enter her world. Zhou Jinjin is an exception. He is lively and cheerful, and can make good friends with everyone, so they often hang out with friends and play ball. If someone asks her alone, she will directly ask what she is doing. If it is not important, there is no need to ask her out. Someone once asked her to watch a movie and bought 2 tickets. She directly called a group of people and sat in a whole row. Someone also asked her to eat hot pot together. She called Zhou Jinjin and Gu Ci and gradually became alone. There are very few men asking her out, and everyone can see that Chinwan is not yet enlightened. Let's just be friends first and slowly develop feelings. There may be hope. If we really want to confess, maybe we won't be able to be friends. When she was in graduate school, everyone in her team got along pretty well with her, but she disliked her classmates for being arrogant and uncoinciding, and rarely interacted with them. Ever since they graduated from Gu Ci and Zhou Jinjin, she had rarely interacted with them. Friends. The only one who later made an appointment alone, was Rong Li. But most of the time, she and Rong Li had something to talk about. Jideo and Black Eagle had some business connections, and they needed to talk it over clearly. Indeed, there were a few times, they specially invited her out for dinner. Rong Li asked her out, and she was bored at home. Parents are also busy, so they will naturally come out if someone invites them to dinner. Besides, Chinwan doesn't want to have a tense relationship with Rong Li because of Ji Sun's relationship with Zhang Junlin. Their relationship really eased for a while. After Christmas, they went out to eat alone 6 times in a row, and even watched a fireworks show together. Chinwan. The reckless man won't think that she has acquiesced. Do they have the next step of development? Then she was so nervous that she didn't take her seriously, and he became so angry that the child didn't recognize him. So stingy? The more Chinwan thought about it, the more he realized that this was the case. He felt that Rong Li was really a stingy person. Do you think Rong Li? Chinwan pursed her lips and asked Fang Mingheng, you and Rong Li seem to have a good relationship. He doesn't have many friends, only one or two in the country. Fang Mingheng said, I'm a technical geek and I don't like to go out. I can't go out for a year without food and water. Jinwan. She also discovered that Rong Li really didn't like to go out and wished he could have all his basic necessities, food, housing, and transportation all over the world. Oh, people can't read it, wouldn't they just meet each other when they read it, Fang Mingheng said with a smile. Jinwan followed his gaze and saw Rong Li and Ji Xian also in the park. The two sides also had a face-to-face meeting. Ji Xian exaggeratedly pointed to the maple forest over there, the maple leaves are really red. Moi. End of this chapter.